Good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about 12th chemistry chapter. The name of the lesson is metallurgy. Into that I am going to take a subtopic about electrochemical principles of metallurgy. Okay, so usually if you are taking that is the oxides of the reactive metal. Okay, so oxides of a reactive metal you can reduce by using of a suitable reducing agent. So of course if you want to reduce by using of this electrochemical reactions, just we are going to use the Gibbs free energy function. Okay, so if you are taking that the metal should be in the salt form. Okay, so from the salt form only you are going to get ions, and those ions only can be reduced by using of a suitable reducing agent under conditions we are going to apply. So for that the thermodynamically not possible reduction process we can done by using of a electrochemical method. Okay, so into that by applying one equation, that is expression, that is del G is equal to minus NF E naught. This is Gibbs free energy function. So here the del G is what? It is change in the free energy. Del G is what? Change in the free energy. Free energy, and where N represents number of electrons, that is number of electrons involved in a reaction, and F we know Faraday. Okay, and E naught, that is EMF of a cell. Okay, so this is expression where we will get electrochemical principles, and from that what we can learn that, so this free energy, that is change in the free energy, that will be equal to minus NF E naught. What is the relation between this E naught and del G? If the E naught value, if you are going to get negative, the free energy will be positive. So whenever if you want to get a spontaneous reaction, okay, if you want to get a spontaneous reaction, del G value should be negative. Okay, del G value should be negative. And from that you have to assume whatever may be the redox reaction, if you want to get the feasibility. Okay, so the feasibility of a reaction, so if you want to get the feasibility whether a reaction is occur or not, that has to be decided by using of a E naught of the reaction. If the E naught of the reaction, if it is positive, so you have to arrange a reaction in such a way that the E naught value should be positive, then we can get the del G value as negative. So if you apply those conditions, okay, you can get the EMF of a cell, and the reaction will be spontaneous and the reaction will be taking place. Okay, and the condition is the metal should be from that metal salt we are going to get a metal, and those metal ions can be reduced by using of a suitable reducing agent. Okay, by using this we can apply, if you are taking a very high reactive metal. Okay, just I am taking a high reactive metal. Example, I am not telling that very high reactive metal means don't consider sodium and potassium, just if you are taking that copper. Okay, high reactive metal copper, it has to be compared with the reactivity with the silver. So comparing silver, this should be reactive more. So if I am taking high reactive element copper, that is immersed in the solution of a less reactive, that is solution. So I just indicate by using of a metal ion. Okay, solution form. So more reactive metal immersed in the less reactive, that is solution form ions. So whenever if I am immerse this metal into the less reactive metal salt, that is ion, this high reactive element goes into the solution. Okay, so whenever it goes into the solution, it has to be converted into ion, and ion is converted into a metal. Okay, so if you want to get, this is a replacement of a more reactive with the less reactive element, and those can be predicted by using of a electrochemical series. Okay, and same way, so I am going to apply this electrochemical reactions. We can explain one process named as extraction of aluminium. So into that we can apply what is the reaction taking place. Okay, extraction of aluminium we know can be done by the Hall-Héroult process. Generally we can name it as a Hall's process. Okay, how can you explain this extraction of aluminium? So into that I am going to take, this is usually consisting of a cathode, anode and one electrolyte solution. Okay, so usually we can take cathode, iron tank lined with carbon. Okay, so if you are taking cathode as iron tank lined with the carbon, and we can take anode, so carbon blocks that should be in rods immersed in electrolyte. Definitely that has to be immersed in electrolyte. Okay, and what you are going to consider as a electrolyte is, you can consider 20%, that is 20% of alumina from bauxite ore. Okay, 20% of alumina from bauxite ore, that has to be mixed with molten cryolite. That has to be mixed with water, molten cryolite. Okay, so here in addition to that we are going to add calcium chloride, that is 10% of calcium chloride we are going to use. The purpose of using calcium chloride is to lower the melting point. Okay, to lower the melting point, just we are going to use a 10% of calcium chloride, and totally we are taking cathode, anode and electrolyte, just we are going to take all. Okay, and what is the reaction occurring? So there will be reaction occurs at cathode and anode. So usually in a Hall's process, what is the reaction? Just we are maintaining this condition and we are applying a temperature of 1270 Kelvin. There will be some chemical reactions that has to be occur. So generally the reaction taking place is the alumina, okay, that will be split up into aluminium and oxygen, that is in the form of ions, aluminium Al3 plus, this oxygen O2 minus. Overall reaction we know aluminium and oxygen, this is an ionic reaction. So by Al3 plus O2 minus, here aluminium is 2, so oxygen, that is 3. So this is a general reaction. So now what is the reaction occurring at cathode, okay, and anode? So usually we know cathode, taking cathode there will be reduction will be possible. So reduction, if it is reduction means we have to take aluminium. So aluminium Al3 plus, okay, if you are taking, so there will be addition of a electron, because reduction you have to add the electron. So this aluminium 3 plus, when you add electron it becomes a aluminium. So there is a transferring of a 3 electron, so I have to add a 3 electron to get converted into aluminium, and where aluminium is going to be deposited at the cathode. And if I am taking a anode reaction, so anode you have to take a oxygen. There will be at anode there will be liberation of a electron. So this I am going to write, this will be O2 plus electron. So if I am taking this O conversion, so 3 O2 and here 6, there will be possible of 12 electrons there will be liberation. Okay. So at cathode there is a, just we are involving electron. At the anode oxidation there will be liberation. So usually you can say at the cathode there will be deposition of aluminium. At the anode there will be liberation of oxygen. And where we have used anode, now carbon blocks immersed in the electrolyte. So usually this carbon undergo reactions just at the anodic part. What type of reaction means? At the anode carbon is present. Okay. So carbon reacts with the O2. Okay. O2 minus, and you will get carbon monoxide. You will get what? A carbon monoxide. C reacts with the O2 minus, you will get a carbon monoxide. There will be liberation of 2 electron. How many electron? 2 electron. In the same way, same process, okay, same process, O2 minus, just we are going to get carbon dioxide as a process. Okay, carbon dioxide, and there will be liberation here CO2. So if I put 2, there will be liberation of a 4 electron. So here also what happened? At the anode oxidation there will be liberation of a electron. This is a reaction occurring at the anode. That's why the anodic carbon that has to be consumed in the reaction. Okay. So usually we can get at cathode, at the anode what happened. So cathode there will be deposition of aluminium pure metal, and the anode there will be liberation of the oxygen. Okay, this is called a Hall's process. Okay, next we are going to see about refining process. So first what about refining? So we know metal. So from where we are getting metal means from the ore. From the ore we are extracting the metal. Okay, in addition to that the ore, some of the impurities. Like we are going to consider some additional impurities like other metals, okay, and non-metals. This and all we can consider as impurities, and those impurities has to be removed from the metal. So the process of removing those kind of impurities from the crude metal, okay, from the crude metal, this process only called refining. Okay, the process of removing other metals, non-metals, such like that, those impurities from the crude metal, that process only named as a refining process. So what are all the refining process we can adopt? So first one we can take a distillation process. We can take a distillation. So this distillation process we can apply the low boiling liquids, that is low boiling volatile liquids, like example zinc we can take, that is low boiling volatile liquids we can apply distillation process. How can you explain? So generally if I am taking the impure liquid, that has to be mixed with the impure and the pure, okay, and the pure metal, okay, the pure metal has low boiling point. Pure metal has low boiling point, that means more volatile, easily escaping as a vapors. Okay, so if I am taking a pure metal mixed with the impure metal, okay, now what happened? When we heat those mixture, that is in the liquid form, when we heat, what happens? Slowly the pure metal vaporized very easily, and that has to be escapes, and those vapors you can condensed, okay, and you will convert it into the another form of a liquid. And same way the impure mixture, that has to be present in the container itself. So if you are going on increasing the temperature, that is if you are providing more temperature, and those can be what? That can be converted into vapors. Okay, by using of this method we can we can separate low boiling volatile liquid, okay, from the high volatile liquid. That process only called a distillation process. Okay. And next one we can take a liquefaction process. Can take a liquefaction. So this liquefaction we can separate high melting point, that is high melting point mixture with the low melting point. Okay, so here whenever if I am taking high melting point, that has to be related with the impurity. So usually the impurity is having a high melting point. Okay. Low melting point refers with the pure metal. Okay. This liquefaction we have to consider one sloping earth. So you can draw the structure like this, sloping earth. Okay, and that has to be covered with the furnace like, that is we can cover with the reverberatory furnace like this. Okay, this is considered as a furnace and this is your sloping earth. Okay, sloping table you have to consider. Under that just we are taking a sloping earth of furnace. The furnace usually you can consider as a reverberatory furnace. Now what happened? In that sloping table, just I am taking the impure metals like this. Just you put that impure ore and we can put one collector here to collect the metals. Okay. Now what happened? Usually those consist of impurities and pure metal. So whenever if you are going to heat, okay, those metals, generally the melting point it is going on increasing. We know that. So the metal has to be melt and that has to be converted into the liquid form. So as soon as if you are providing a temperature, okay, the impurities, the melting point is very high. High melting point. Okay, impurities having very high melting point and the pure metal low melting point. Now first what happened? The pure metal that has to be melt and flows, okay, into the container. So because of the low melting point, the pure metal first start to melt and that has to be collected separately. Whereas the impurities having high melting point. So those impurities should take more time to melt. By this way we can separate the impurities with the pure metal by using of a liquefaction process. Okay, so this liquefaction is mainly depending upon the melting point. Okay, this is one method. And you see about electrolysis. Okay, so usually electrolysis we can take any metal, just we are going to refine. So here we can consider silver refining process. So for that you have to consider cathode. Okay, cathode means pure silver. Pure silver rods we can take in the form of, and same way anode impure silver rods. Okay, and what is the electrolyte? So usually the electrolyte is consisting of a interest salt of a particular metal. So here I am taking silver, so I have to take a silver nitrate that has to be acidified with sulfuric acid, that is considered as a electrolyte solution. So cathode, anode and electrolyte. So just we are connecting with okay, electric circuit and there will be process taking place, electrolysis. What is the process? Just we are going to see. So to explain the electrolysis, okay, the graphical diagram just I can draw by taking on beaker. Okay, just we have to connect the two rods, one is anode okay, positive, and another one that has to be negative, cathode, and this should be externally connected to the batteries like this. And here we can take the electrolyte. The electrolyte is a mixture of silver nitrate plus sulfuric acid. So you have taken the impure silver that has to be considered as an anode, and the pure form that has to be considered as a cathode. So here what happened, we know cathode and anode reaction. Okay. So in the anode reaction, oxidation, at the cathode reduction. In anode, from the silver, okay, from the silver, there will be ejection of a electron. That is, electron is coming out. Anode, oxidation, removal of a electron. So at the anode, there will be the silver ion coming, and that will be enters into the electrolyte solution. Now what happened at the cathode? Okay, at the cathode, the silver ion that has to be deposited on the cathode by gaining the electron. So that silver ion gains one electron, and that will be converted into silver. There are two processes. So at the anode, there will be removal of an electron. By using of that, we are getting a silver cation, silver ion. Those silver ion enter into the solution, and usually that has to be migrated towards the cathode. Okay, whenever it enters into the cathode, it takes an electron, okay, and that has to be deposited as a silver. That has to be what? Deposited as a silver. By using of this, the impure form of a silver can be, okay, refined into the pure form of a silver. So that is called the electrolysis. Okay, and same way we can take one more thing, that is zone refining process. So zone refining process, those process for to get high purity of a metal. Okay, to get high purity of metal, we can use a zone refining process. Okay. So what is zone refining process and what is the principle behind it means? The principle behind the zone refining is a fractional crystallization. Fractional crystallization. Okay. Now I will explain what is zone refining process. So to explain the zone refining process, we have to consider one bar of a metal. That is the metal rod, a long metal rod we have to consider. And those metal rod that has to be surrounded by using of a inert gas atmosphere. Okay, I will explain by using of one diagram. I am going to consider this is a metal rod like this. Okay, long metal rod, you have to assume. And that has to be covered with the, okay, that has to be covered with the inert atmosphere. That is, inert atmosphere means just the gas that has to be provided. For what purpose the inert gas we are circulating means in order to prevent the oxidation of a metal. So to prevent the oxidation of the metal, whatever, suppose if I am taking zirconium like that, oxidation of metal, just germanium, you can take bismuth, any metal just you are going to consider, and those metal that can be purified by using of a zone refining. In order to oxidation of those metal, to prevent this, we are circulating the inert gas. This is an apparatus like this. Okay, and just I am taking a long metal rod, and this long metal rod I am going to heat by using of a heater, that is mobile induction heater. Okay, in the diagram that mobile induction heater, just we are going to take like this. This is a movable induction heater. Okay. Now I am going to heat one end of the rod. Just if I am taking this part alone, okay, this part alone. Now what happened, this metal rod containing the impurities only, okay, those impurities just we are going to separate from those pure form of a metal. Now just we are going to heat only this one end of the rod. I am going to heat. Okay, now what happened, the metal, the impure form that has to be melted. So no doubt that has to be melted. And same way, okay, entirely that has to be melted. When we move that the mobile induction heater to the another zone, just you are considering just if I am moving to the another zone. Now what happened? The impurities in the molten state that has to be moved along with the induction heater to the another region, leaving behind the pure metal. So here the pure metal, once it is melted, and after that whenever moving to the another zone, the heater, the pure metal has to be here what? Crystallized. So only whenever if you are moving the mobile induction heater to the another zone, the impurities also along with that has to be moved. So next this zone again we are going to heat. So now what happened? The pure form that has to be solidified here, that has to be crystallized, and the impurities will move to the another end. By this way, okay, by moving of that induction heater, by this way we can purify the pure metal from the impure metal. So all the impure metals are melted in the molten zone only, that has to be present. And those impurities will move to the another end. By repeating this process several times, we can get the pure form of a metal. And this zone refining process, the metal like germanium, silicon, bismuth, okay, and those metal can be refined by using of this process. Okay, zone refining process, generally we can get a high purity of metal we can use, and the principle behind is crystallization only. Okay, and next we can see about vapor phase method. Vapor phase method. And what is the speciality of vapor phase method? Means this is also one of the method to get a pure metal. So what we can do means, first of all, the impure metal that has to be converted into the volatile compound. From that volatile compound, again there will be decomposition of that volatile compound, we will get a pure metal. I will explain by using of two process. One is Mons process. The Mons process we know, okay, by using of a nickel we are taking. So into that just we are taking impure form of a nickel. Okay, that nickel, okay, reacts with the carbon monoxide, the reagent carbon monoxide. By using of a temperature that is 350 Kelvin, the nickel reacts with the carbon monoxide. Just if I am applying the temperature, this is impure nickel. Okay, reacts with the carbon monoxide, we will get nickel tetracarbonate. Tetracarbonate. Okay, here 4 times CO. In the same way, this is called a volatile compound. So from that volatile compound we are going to get a pure metal. Again this nickel tetracarbonate, okay, this volatile compound that has to be decomposed by using of temperature 460 Kelvin. There will be separation of nickel plus carbonate. This is 4 times. Okay. So here just I am considering the impure form of a nickel, just I will convert it into one compound, volatile compound. From the decomposition of a volatile compound, again you are going to get a nickel, that is in the pure form. Okay, this is one method by using of a compound formation. Those compounds should be a volatile compound. And next, one more method, Van Arkel method, involving titanium compound. Okay. So if I am taking titanium as in the impure form, suppose titanium as impure, we want to convert this impure form into pure form. Just this titanium has to be passed to the evacuated container, evacuated vessel containing iodine. So if I am passing titanium with the iodine, okay, at a temperature of 500 Kelvin, now what happened? There will be compound formation, that is volatile compound formation, titanium tetraiodide. Tetraiodide. This is a volatile compound. Okay, and from that volatile compound, again there will be decomposition of a volatile compound, titanium tetraiodide. There will be decomposition 1800 Kelvin if you are using. So again there will be decomposition titanium with iodine. So if you want to balance this, just you are going to get 2 iodine, and here also what, 2 iodine. Okay, and finally you are getting titanium, that is in the pure form. So these two methods, that is in the vapor form, that is vapor phase method. So by using of a volatile compound formation, we can get the pure form of a metal. And today we have discussed about metallurgy, about electrochemical, that is involved in the free energy, and same way how will you refine the impure metals by using of a distillation process, liquefaction method, zone refining, and finally we have seen a vapor phase method. Thank you.